okay. If you are sitting at a desk and your feet are down, make sure they're not crossed. Your ankles need to be parallel and your knees need to be parallel. How's the sound, Mary? Is that okay? Sounds good. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Otherwise, if you're sitting in the regular cross-legged position, you please raise your hips, sits bones, maybe 2 to 4 inches. And hands resting in the lap in the meditation mudra. And so the right hand is kind of nested into the left with the thumbs touching. And I just wanted to add as a proviso, if that, for example, isn't comfortable for you for this time we're doing this meditation, if it's more comfortable for you to have your hands resting on your knees, or if you've been taught, hello Victor, if you've been taught by a yoga teacher a different way of meditating with a different mudra, you're welcome to use whichever mudra works for you at this particular time. So that's okay. There's no strict rule for this class anyway. Take a nice deep breath. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. So you can imagine you have like a puppeteer above you, very gently lengthening your spine. So we want to put some space in between our vertebrae. And have your shoulders aligned with your hips and your ears aligned with your shoulders. And just tip the head slightly forward. You just wanted to sort of hinge it slightly forward. So we're not allowing the weight of our head to pull us forward. Just a very gentle tipping forward, or the chin kind of going down, putting a bit of length in the back of the neck. And the eyes will be, if they were open, they would be looking along the length of the nose to a spot about 2 inches ahead of you. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Relax the jaw. Lips can be slightly apart. So let's just bring our attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth. Bring your attention to the back of the head and relax the scalp there. Releasing any tension in the back of the head. And then just notice, even by thinking of that, the jaw relaxes a bit more. So imagine just going into your inner ear, maybe with a nice warm light, and just allowing that to relax. Relax your temples, back of the tongue, and the jaw again. So let's just bring our attention to the back of the neck and release any tension there. Maybe if you've been sitting at a computer all day, just relax the shoulders, the shoulder blades. Just allow them to drop down. Relax the upper back. Make sure it's not rounded. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly. And the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And let's just bring our mind to the breath. Noticing the sensation of the air as we're inhaling. It's a little bit cooler than the air we're exhaling. If there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. And just notice what attracts or distracts your mind. And then bring the mind back to the breath. And then just your thoughts. Watch them arise. Put some space in between them. They'll abide for a moment, and if you don't engage with them, they'll just kind of dissipate. It's kind of interesting. And rather than engaging with your thoughts or making judgments or having opinions or making up stories, just think about being an objective observer. You're just standing back and watching. So we can sit ourselves on this bank of our river and watch that river flow on by. And while we're sitting on the bank of the river, we're free from it. So let's just bring to mind all those people of our life, our loved ones, our family and friends, our spouses, our children, our besties, those people in our community that help us, our dear neighbours. And then there's those we have a little bit more difficulty with. And then there's those strangers. And I'm wondering if in this last month or even this last week, any of those particular groups in your life, any of the people in those groups in your life have changed place. Certainly will happen from lifetime to lifetime, but it also happens within a lifetime, maybe within a decade or even a year. However, all of those people are equal of our concern, of our love, of our compassion. And why is that? Because each one of those people in each of those different groups, categories, all wish to be happy. None of them want to suffer. And they all have this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension all sentient beings. And you can bring to mind someone that you know who might be suffering. Now you all have a different problem, from fire to flood. So think about all the sentient beings that might be now affected by the flooding, all the excess of rain. Just think now there is no negativity that cannot be purified. So there's nothing you've done that's so horrible, that's so bad, that you can't deal with it, you can't do something about it. So what we're doing is, after creating negativity with our mind, we're now going to change that. We can create positivity with our mind in this practice. So the first of the 4 opponent powers in this practice is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being today or in this life or in any of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any more suffering or even any future suffering. So logically it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering from us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. So we're not exactly asking Vajrasattva to forgive us or to even heal us. What we're asking for is his methods that we can use to purify ourselves. So we're just taking action here. We're just using Vajrasattva's medicine to heal ourselves. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine, perhaps, if you wish, this is the mind of your teacher, your Lama, your trusted mentor, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. This is the mind of that person. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, and this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all the people of your life. He's absolutely delighted you're here this evening. He's really, really happy to see you. And however it is you're showing up this evening, he has no judgment, no criticism, no expectations. Just accepts you exactly as you are. He has this sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. And he's wearing all these jewels, a 5-pointed crown and silks. And he has an aura of light around his head and around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. This symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing a wish for them to not suffer. May you be free from suffering. So think particularly of someone you've harmed recently and perhaps in the past, and then also maybe someone who has harmed you. And although that's a little bit more difficult, the fact that they've harmed you might mean that they're also harming others, and probably they're lonely, and maybe they're frustrated, maybe they're sad, maybe they're just angry. And maybe think, oh gosh, wouldn't it be horrible to be inside that mind? So have compassion for them. And also remember that any suffering they've caused you is going to ripen as future suffering for them. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice, visualization and recitation of the mantra. So first is the purification of the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, almost like coming out of a hose or a waterfall. You can imagine Niagara Falls, very forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body is completely purified, and think there is no way now you could do anything other than benefit others with your body. How amazing. So next is a purification of speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine quite forcefully disappearing into space, quite forcefully overflowing. And imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs and being divisive and being careless with our speech, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So just imagine if you had the power and the wisdom to say whatever is the most appropriate, the most beneficial thing to say in that particular moment for that particular person that you're with. That would just be so amazing. So we never had any slip-ups or something came out of our mouth that we didn't want it to. It would be amazing. It would give us tremendous power to help others. So next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light, this time from his heart chakra. And this light arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when we walk into a pitch black room and switch on a light, that light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches our heart, all the darkness of the negativity of our mind is instantly dispelled. So all our depression and anger and attachment and neediness and resentment and jealousy and bitterness and grudges and all this kind of mess that's in our head drives us to sort of take action that is harmful, to speak that is in ways that are harmful. It's all instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasata Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, gone. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So it's very subtle. So you imagine, if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras each for the visualization of the body and of the speech and of the mind that we've just done. Or you can just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahazamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahazamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahazamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahazamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mepi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So now feel completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. And so now we come to the power of resolve, and as we've been doing, I would just take a moment to rejoice in your efforts to turn up, just to even do this practice. It's really fantastic, so really rejoice in that first of all. And then rejoice in the efforts that you've been making to work on your habits. And think again, something, maybe you can work in a little bit more detail on one particular habit, or a little bit longer, maybe for a few days. Just see how you're going. So just give yourself a reasonable timeline. And then we just make a decision. We're just deciding. We're aspiring to be able to refrain from all kinds of harm eventually. But we just start humbly, step by step. Okay, so Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And Lama Yeshe used to call that union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So in this way you can look at all phenomena as empty. They do not exist from their own side. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this evening doing this purification to all living beings, the people of our life, and thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, O Tub Shu Chang Shin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzin Kyong Pelway Kunzo Dog Porze, Chog Sum Kurway Leg Mon Tu Drub, Padag Sog Dulje Gondu Shab Chen Shog. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Shara, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. There we go again, gone like a dream. I can see Fridays here already. My life is flashing before my eyes. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very much. Lots of love. Stay out of trouble between now and tomorrow night, and I look forward to seeing you then. Okay, bye-bye. Good night, everyone.